When I looked at my report card, honestly, my heart sunk because 3 semesters in a row, I got 84.
84.
And some people actually will shit on everyone else just to get the best grade and have... Hello guys, bonjour busy linguists. I hope you're all doing well. So I wanted to make a different type of video today, and it's something that is a bit more chatty and quite personal. And I think especially for those of you who are currently at school or studying at university, a little bit of motivation, because this is super important to know. And unfortunately, I defined myself for a very long time through this one thing, and it's got to do with grades. So it ties in quite well with language learning, so I'm going to get to that because I'm going to share my experiences with you about my grades that I got at school, my grades that I got at university, and how that actually reflected on my language skills. And I know that it's also something that puts people off of learning languages or continuing languages because they're not getting the good grades, and they might pick another subject that suits them better or that they're just better at, which is totally cool. I completely understand it, but it should never ever put you off of learning something that you really want to learn. So that's why I want to share my school experiences with you. So basically, in high school, my best marks were always in languages. So it was in English, in Spanish, and French, and I put in a lot of work into those subjects, which is why I got the grades. And when it came to exams as well, I have to say that's the one thing, or the one subject that at school is actually one that you can't really learn for at the last minute, like auf den letzten Drucker, you would say it in German. Yeah, it's just that exam shows all of your knowledge that you've picked up throughout the semester or through the trimester, through the year, whatever, and that's what it is. So basically at school I always got A's when it came to my languages, and that is because, as I said, I put in a lot of work. And that's something I was obviously very proud of. Like in all my other subjects, I gave it my all always. And it's quite funny because so in high school it was pretty easy to get an A. I remember even, in maths I had an A, and so people would ask me, are you good at maths, and are you good at languages, are you good at science? And I would equate myself being good in those subjects or in those topics with my grade. So I thought, okay, last semester I got an A in maths, so I'm good at maths, And when I was in year 11, I went into a higher maths, and there I was struggling. Like, I like maths, but school maths is different to everyday maths. I like stuff that I need, like, with finances and doing mini sums and working out percentages of 30% of this, how much is that going to be? But like algebra and stuff, that was never my thing. And then I got a C in maths. I think it was called specialist maths or something. And when I looked at my report card, honestly, my heart sunk because I had always identified myself with, I'm a great person because I get great grades and whatever. And I think at school it's just like the biggest nonsense that you define yourself through some number that is given by someone, or just like based on your performance and on how many tasks you've completed. And it's kind of just bullshit, I think. I'm not saying that grades are bad. I'm not saying that the school system is bad. Not at all. So please, people, don't mistake that for being what I'm actually saying. So, and what I'm actually saying is that it's very important for students, especially when you're in high school, but also at university or just studying, no matter what age you are, it's very important to remember that your grades on a report card, it's not who you are, is what I'm trying to say. So now we come to university. This is where the tale gets really interesting. So you might have seen my video about studying at university. If not, you will be able to find it here. But at university, so I got a scholarship when I was 16 to study at university. So I started uni at 16, and I studied French in the first semester and German from the second semester, and I did a semester of psychology as well. And the thing that university really taught me, which was like, it took me forever to really realize that I couldn't get 100%. I was so used to getting the best marks in languages. Like, I would put my heart and soul into every single listening comprehension I did, exam I wrote, test that I did. And then I got to university and it was a different ball game, guys. It was just like, in French, I think I averaged at getting like 75% or like distinctions. And I think that's one of the key things when someone asks me, what did you learn at university? Apart from the subject material, it was actually that I learned what it means to not define your worth through a number. And that took me a while to realize, because I had always been so focused on grades. Like, I remember when I had got all A's on my very first report card at high school, I like showed it to my grandmother with pride, and she was just like, oh, that's how it should be. And it was always this like quest to prove something to someone else or prove something to myself, and it was just a goddamn number. So university taught me that you will never get 100% and just do the best that you can. And then it came to my very, very last, so this is like fast forward 4 years, to my very last transcript, or my results for my uni semester. And so German was my number one subject. It was a subject I was most passionate about. As I said, I put my like everything into this subject. Like, I just always wanted to do the best that I could and get the best grade. And no joke, I will blend this in here, I got three semesters in a row for pretty much the same like subject. It was German, but it was like continuous. So German 2B, no, 2SB, and then like 3SA and 3SB, I think it was. So a high distinction, the top mark that you can get at our university was from 85%. So 85% upwards is what you would needed to get from the result of your exams and everything put together over the semester to get your final score. And 3 semesters in a row, I got 84. 84. 84. Yes, even Siri on my phone is like, what the hell? 84. Do you guys know how disappointed I was? I honestly, Siri just said, wie kann ich dir helfen? How can I help you? Well, Siri, where were you when I needed you? I remember it was in my summer holidays, and I started to cry. I was like, I've literally given everything to get this grade. And I started thinking like, oh my God, I'm not good enough. I'm not as good as other people who can get 85% or more. What will this mean when I try and apply for jobs later on? And just all these silly thoughts went through my head. And I had always been a very academic person. And academics, my academic merit and everything was my everything, especially as a law student. That's a whole other story. But at law school, it was just, your grades are also everything. You have to be the best, and some people actually will shit on everyone else just to get the best grade and have, this award in their CV and have done this clerkship by this lawyer and everything. And it was just so toxic. Like, it can get very toxic. I'm not saying that it's for everyone, but it does, that there does exist a tendency for people to start defining themselves through grades. And the best thing that I ever did was really just shit on all of those thoughts and get away from university for a while, because I think it's very, very easy to slip into not really focusing on learning, but focusing on just getting that number at the end of the semester. So, you'd cram in your study like before exams and just focus on, okay, I need to be able to just answer this question for the exam and then I'm all good. And the whole element of learning just goes out of it. And I think languages, like, that was definitely the case for me from law school. I can hardly remember any cases that I studied. Like, you've got to think about this. This is years of work, and I can barely remember anything. I think the most I remember was actually from my exchange semester in Germany, where I did civil law, because I've needed to use a couple of the laws or paragraphs lately. But yeah, it's just crazy. And the one thing that you have at the end of the day with language learning is that you actually have that language. And I remember in German, I might have, gotten this bloody 84, but look at me now, people. Look at me now. I run a business in Germany. I can speak German at a native speaker level. It's actually better than English, I think, at this point. And this is just what I want to say to you guys. Never give up on your dreams. Never give up on learning something because of a grade. And from that story, that I didn't let myself be defined by some number anymore. And it's actually what put me off, for example, doing French for a year, because I thought, oh, French is really, really difficult. I'm just not getting the grade. Maybe I should just, give it a miss for a little bit, and that's not how you learn. So really, as a final point, just because your grade isn't good in a language subject doesn't mean that you can't go out and learn it from somewhere else. If one method isn't working for you, you need to find a different method. Just keep trying until you succeed. You know, not if you succeed, until you succeed. So that's my message for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give me some love, leave a like, leave a comment, and if you're not yet subscribed, subscribe. Dann, Leute, wir sehen uns im nächsten Video. Ciao.